What is going on, everybody? I'm your host, Christian Hardy, here to break down this Wednesday 8-game MLB main slate for you guys. I am from LocksDFS.com. You can follow us on Twitter at LocksDFS. I am at ByHardy on Twitter. And we're going to run through this 8-game slate, but before we do that, I wanted to remind you guys to leave a comment, leave a like, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you appreciate the content, and you'll get the content straight to your inbox, and you'll also have a chance to win a free season pass. We give away a free season pass to someone who's been commenting, a subscriber who's been commenting, and leaving whether it be your home run call or maybe a team you want to stack today or a pitcher you like that maybe I didn't mention in the video. Any of that kind of stuff. Just leave a comment. It really helps us out, and we'll be sure to give back to one of you guys every single week for the entirety of the MLB season. And be sure to also call a pass if you don't have a pass yet to LocksDFS.com. I really think that we can help you guys become better DFS players. We're in the chat up to lock on every slate we play. We also have our lock sheets, which grades all of the players that we're considering on the slate as either cash, GPP, value plays, as well as just giving them an A through D grade. And we also have our top stacks of the day, as well as our first look, which is just my statistical look at the slate, going through bullpens, park factors, umpires, all that kind of good stuff. So check us out at LocksDFS.com. Like I said, I think it'll really help you out and become a better player. So let me go ahead and jump into the slate. So now that I'm through all of that, we're going to start with the pitching, per usual. And, I mean, at the top, we've got Justin Verlander. He's 11.3K against the Brewers. Obviously, the Brewers are a pretty good team, and it's a matchup that we don't love for Verlander, but he's still going to be the top pitching option on the slate and also the highest owned pitching option on the slate, more than likely. I do want to mention that I do think Barrios and Lucchesi are worth some consideration. However, I still think that Verlander is going to be my preferred SP1 today, even at his very high price point. So let's first pull up. I had the Brewers versus righties. Well, first of all, let's look at this Brewers projected lineup, where at the bottom of the lineup we have Thames, Shaw, Gamble, and Arcia, all of which you're going to be able to get pretty good amount of strikeouts against. You've also got Lorenzo Cain and Braun on the worst side of their splits. And let's also keep in mind that we're going to be looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lefties in this lineup. Verlander is a guy who this year has dominated lefties with a 12.49 K per 9 to lefties and a 3 xFIP to lefties. So all those lefties in this lineup are actually going to help Verlander out, whereas a lot of pitchers have platoon splits and lefties are going to hurt him. It's actually going to help Verlander in this matchup. It also helps that they are not playing in Milwaukee. They're going to be playing in a slightly bigger park. Not that doesn't play well for hitters or anything, but it's going to be a much worse park compared to Miller. However, it is going to have a short porch in left field. Crawford boxes, of course. If you don't know about those, just Google it. Obviously, Verlander is a guy who can give up some hard hit, and you're always at risk when you take Verlander to maybe give up a home run, maybe give up 2. That's just kind of how he's been pitching over the last few years. But still you look at even with those hard hit numbers, you look at the xFIPs, and there's nothing concerning, especially with the K numbers. He's getting 4.4 xFIP to righties and a 3 xFIP to lefties. And, of course, on this team, you're going to be looking at, Yelich and Moose are probably the two most dynamic hitters, and he's going to be very good against those lefties. He's got a 15.1% swinging strike rate. So, the K upside is here. And, of course, the Brewers also on the year K'ing 25% versus right-handed pitchers. Of course, a little bit higher than average of 104 WRC plus, but nothing too crazy against the righties this year. It's around middle of the pack. If we sort by WRC plus here, they're at 11th. So again, like I said, not the perfect matchup for Verlander, but still a spot that I think he will be the highest owned, and I think it's worth it. Although I do think that I will be considering Barrios and Lucchesi for the SP1 spot. Okay, with that said, let's move on to the next option. And I do think there are a lot of really interesting cheap options on this slate. I'm going to talk about Danny Duffy here in a second, but I think on the other side of this, you've got Danny Norris, who's interesting. You've got Sean Anderson against. I'm kind of off targeting the Padres, but it is still a Padres team that does strike out quite a bit versus righties. But Anderson's numbers aren't that great. And then lastly, you've got Miles Mikolas going up against the Marlins, who has a 3.4 team total. So for me, from SP2, I'm probably going to be between Duffy and Mikolas. But I am going to talk about Duffy for the case of this video, despite him facing a little bit of a higher team total. I do think I prefer him slightly as of recording this video. So the one thing I'm going to say about Duffy is that he is still not doing great against righties as he was last year. As you can see, the Ks aren't super high. The K per 9s aren't super high. He's got a 5.2 xFIP, and he's going to be facing a lot of righties in this lineup. That said, his primary 2 pitches, if we just go to his pitch type here, are going to be his fastball and his slider. It's going to account for about 80% of his pitches. those are the two pitches that the Tigers are, but I believe in both of the pitches they are bottom 3 in the league against. So I think if Duffy uses these pitches, as you can see, sometimes he'll really use this slider to mix in with that fastball, and that'll account for even over 80% of his pitch type. And Duffy, when he came back from his injury this year, was really struggling to get strikeouts. The swinging strike rate was down, and still, like I said on the season, he still got I believe it was like a 6 or 6.5 K per 9, 6 K per 9 to righties on the season. That said, if we go to the pitch type data here from Add More Funds, swinging strike rate for Duffy is to righties is still at a 10.2%. That's above league average. So nothing that I'm like, I'm not shying away from him versus righties. I think that although the xFIP is high, I think that he still has the potential to get some, still has the potential for some strikeouts in this matchup, and that's where I think gives him a little bit of an upside against Mikolas. Obviously, Mikolas is going to be in consideration for me, and I'm gonna have to do more research into those two to decide what I want to go with there. And I think Duffy does present a little bit more risk just because he does have that really high xFIP, whereas Mikolas is going to be more in those mid 4s in terms of his xFIP. But he does give up a decent amount of hard contact as well. As you can see, he struggles against lefties, but he's going to be facing a ton of righties. So, that's really going to be a big decision. And I think that ownership is going to be interesting to see as we go further into the day. I have Awesome's ownership projections pulled up there. And, they're pretty similar right now, and we'll see how they kind of develop throughout the day. But I do expect Duffy to be slightly higher owned, but we'll kind of see how that, again, develops throughout the day. And I think people could be scared off of Duffy just because of the high xFIP. But like I said, looking at the contact numbers and thinking about, I think he has higher strikeout upside than he's shown. I think that this is a pretty good spot for him against his Tigers team that strikes out a ton against lefties and doesn't have a ton of power. However, like I said, those are the 3 pitchers I'm mainly going to be considering. Are going to be Verlander and then the 2 in the middle, Duffy and Mikolas. So let's move on to the hitter spots, which I think are actually pretty obvious on the slate. There's really just 3 teams that I think really, really stand out above the rest. And that's going to be, let's just talk about this first game first. We got the Blue Jays against the Orioles, Edwin Jackson against David Hess. Blue Jays only have a 5.2 team total, and the Orioles have a 5.4 team total against Edwin Jackson. I would not be surprised to see either of those numbers go up. Let's first talk about the Blue Jays, who are going to be going up against David Hess, and he is a very, very heavy reverse splits pitcher, giving you a 421 WOBA, 618 xFIP, 45% hard contact, 58% fly ball rate. Not to mention the fact that they're going to be playing in Camden Yards. It's not going to be too warm, but just Camden Yards already plays well as a hitter's park. So I'm going to be looking at these Blue Jays. Vlad Guerrero has hit righties great since he's been called up. Justin Smoke hits righties for more power. He's at 4.8K. Sogard's a contact hitter. He's a little bit too expensive for me in this spot, especially because David Hess is worse on righties, but absolutely consider Sogard and Stacks. He's a very good hitter, doesn't strike out a lot. Grishuk is phenomenal from both sides of the plate. 4.2K makes a lot of sense to me there. He's going to be a very, very good play for me there. Rowdy Tellez is super cheap. He's had reverse splits and hit lefties better this year. However, he still does add a good amount of power against righties, as you can see, 235 ISO over the last year for Tellez. So, like I said, I'm fine with playing pretty much anyone from this Blue Jays lineup. I don't think you can really go wrong, although I would rank them Vlad, Grishuk, Tellez as my favorite point per dollar plays, and then Smoke probably right after that. Just because he hits righties so much better. But he is a lefty, which Hess is slightly better against. He does strike out a little bit more lefties and lowers the hard hit against lefties, but he's still not a good pitcher by any means to lefties. Okay, let's go ahead and get into Edwin Jackson, who has been just absolutely abysmal since joining the Major League team. Just going through his game logs, he's given up 3 earned runs in his first game. It was at San Francisco. Then we've got 6 earned runs, 7 earned runs, 10 earned runs in Coors in 2 1/3 inning, and then 6 earned runs. 6 runs but 2 earned against New York in his last start. Let's pull up the actual numbers rather than just going through his. We've got a 7.77 xFIP so far in 9 2/3 innings versus righties and a 4.2 xFIP versus lefties. Hard contact is over 45% to both hands. He's giving up a 41 fly ball rate to righties and a 30% fly ball rate to lefties, as well as a 30% line drive rate. So this is about, if you combine those line drive and fly ball rates, lefties are still hitting him very, very well, especially with that hard contact rate. However, I do think the Orioles are going to be kind of tough to get to just because they are very expensive. I like the price on VR, who does hit righties much better. I always kind of forget. That's why I pulled that up. I kind of forget which side he's worse from. But yeah, he strikes out a lot more against lefties. Makes a lot better contact versus righties. Mancini crushes righties. Cisco is a very good cash catcher play. Prospect who has been called up, and he is expensive, but I think he's very worth it. Rio Ruiz is very, very cheap at 3.1K if he bats in that 6-hole. Chris Davis is very cheap at 2.9K as a punt catcher, especially when you're going to be playing Justin Verlander more than likely on the slate. You're going to need to save some money probably somewhere, and I think that Chris Davis could be a spot that you could save a lot of money. And get a chance at banking a home run against Edwin Jackson, who has been absolutely just crushed. I mean, he's pitched 20 innings, he's given up 8 home runs. So, I mean, that's just not very good. A 6.52 home run per 9 to righties. Yeah, he shouldn't be in the major leagues for many more starts. Take advantage of him while you can. I would not be surprised to see this total rise as well, especially being played in Camden Yards. There are a few other hitter spots on the slate, but the main other one I want to talk about is going to be this twin spot against Tommy Milone. Malone is another guy who's been just absolutely awful versus righties this year. The WOBA isn't too bad, 285. You might see that and think, oh, he's not too bad against righties. But if we go to the XFIP numbers, 5.86 XFIP to righties, he's not striking them out at all. 41% hard contact rate with a 53% fly ball rate. He's going to be playing in Minnesota, which plays as a pretty average hitter's park, nothing crazy. But he's been facing a ton of talented righties in this lineup. Pretty much all the way through the lineup. I mean, even down here, you've got 7-8-9, Crone, Sano, Buxton. That is a phenomenal 7-8-9 lineup there. My preferred options on this team are going to be Cruz. They're going to be Garver and GPP probably, though, because of that price. Marwin adds a little bit of power, a little bit more power against lefties. He's very cheap, 3.8K, like him, especially with the multi-position eligibility. And then you've got CJ Crone, who just absolutely mashes lefties. I don't love the 7-hole at home, but he makes sense in stacks. Sano, again, 8-hole, 4.6K, just really not something you're going to be able to pay in cash games, I don't think. So it is, don't get me wrong, it is going to be a little bit difficult to target this team because you've got two lefties at the top, and they are very priced up. So really the guys I'm going to be considering for cash games more than likely is just going to be Cruz, Marwin, and Crone. But I think anyone on this team, I would probably stay away from the lefties. As you can see, his numbers versus lefties have been a lot better. His hard contact is still up, but the fly ball rate is down. The XFIP is at 1.95, and the K rate is at 13.5. So really not going to be trying to get to these lefties here unless you really want to GPP it up. Really just going to be looking to the righties. Polanco is okay, but I'm not sure I want to pay that price for him. I believe he has a little bit less power against the lefties. He does. So really just going to be looking to Cruz, Marwin, and Crone in cash games. It is the highest team total on the slate at 5.9. I thought I would mention that as well. So going to be trying to get some of these twins. I think Cruz will be one of the highest owned hitters on the slate, I believe. With all of that said, let's make the home run calls on the slate. My first home run call is going to be right there. It's going to be Nelson Cruz, 4.8K against Tommy Milone. As you saw, those numbers are just crazy. It is actually kind of shocking to me that I'm not going with a high-priced home run call in this game because I think there will be plenty to come in this game, in this Baltimore and Blue Jays game. I should also mention real quick, sorry that I'm going to interrupt the home run calls real quick, but Bryce Harper is 4.2K against Merrill Kelly, who's given up really bad contact against lefties this year. That's one of my favorite prices on the slate. A lot of people have been playing him, and he hasn't panned out, but I really think that it's going to come. The wind's blowing out to left field. It's a 72 degrees in Philadelphia, which is already a good hitter's park. Kelly, again, like I said, not striking a lot of guys out and giving up a good amount of hard contact to lefties. I really think Bryce Harper makes a really good play on this slate. The only guy I wanted to mention outside of those three teams. My low-priced home run call under 4K is going to be Chance Sisco. I think I'm actually not sure if he's hit a home run this year yet. He does have one against the Astros. So, but he is going to be the low-priced home run call. If it's not going to be him, it's going to be on the other side with Rowdy Tellez. But I think I'm going to stick with Chance Sisco. I think I like the chance of a home run against Edwin Jackson a little bit better. But, I mean, you literally, in this game, I really think you can play just about anyone and make a case for anyone in this game. I genuinely think you can. Both these pitchers are just so bad that you can play whoever you want. So my home run call is officially going to be Nelson Cruz and Chance Sisco. Be sure, if you want to, make your home run calls in the comments down below. And, don't forget to comment, subscribe for a chance to win that free season pass. Thank you guys so much for watching. From LocksDFS.com, I'm Christian Hardy, and we will see you guys back here next time. Peace.